Hello, my fellow modeling and tabletop gaming enthusiasts, and welcome to the Mediocre Modeler Show. Back with a Konflikt Ketchup, maybe a day late, but wanted to wait until after the Warlord Open Day, which was today or yesterday, as you're watching this. Obviously, I was not able to go. I'm not based in the UK. Totally would like to go someday because it looked awesome. But I was sent a few pictures by Max at Bearfoot Miniatures. And there's a lot of pictures on the Konflikt 47 Facebook page, so definitely go check those out. So we're going to kind of just give a little preview of that, as well as the rules for the new United States hero, Roberta Wells. As well, that miniature was also available for sale this weekend. You could buy it at the event, or you can still buy it online. You've got until the end of today, the 27th. Yeah, the end of today, I believe. Or yesterday, actually, to pick up that miniature. I got my order in yesterday. Picked up a few other things. I got this month's Soldier of Fortune, the Marine with the flamethrower, Roberta Wells, a Schwertruppen command unit, as well as the Locust mech for the Axis. So let's go ahead and take a look at the pictures Max sent that are of some of the new minis. I don't have a ton of details on these, if they're plastic, resin, whatnot, but they do look pretty cool. So let's go ahead and take a look at these bad boys. So to start, we've got some Japanese stuff. There's stuff for three new factions, or not new factions, new stuff for three factions previewed today. So first up, we've got this Empire of Japan platoon commander. Looks like it's probably power armored version of it. Looks pretty sweet. You can see in the background they've got some of those ghost soldiers, as well as a Japanese tank, and you can kind of see the front claws of a walker. So then we've got the ghost attack infantry, following pretty close with the original designs. Those look pretty cool. Definitely harkening back to sort of medieval Renaissance era Japanese samurai armor. And then we've got that Type 97 Kai Shiburo Chiha medium tank in the background. And then we move on to the Soviets, the Morazgul. These guys look pretty cool. Honestly, the models look awesome. The rules are kind of nasty too. I haven't spent as much time digesting the army lists for the Soviets, the Commonwealth, and the Japanese as I have the Axis in the United States, obviously. But I took a glance at them. They look pretty cool. These models look amazing. These are kind of the replacement, I think, for the Siberian Terror troops from the first edition. So definitely, I mean, I don't want to slam anything, but definitely a pretty big improvement over those OG models. You can also see another walker in the background, as well as some Ursus infantry. And then back to the Japanese, we got the assault frame armored infantry, and you can again see that that scorpion-like walker in the background. I just kind of saved all these. I didn't know if they went in order or not. So we get new armored infantry for the Japanese. Pretty cool. And we get new armored infantry for the British. So this looks like a command team. I don't know if it's the Galahad or not. I'm assuming probably the grade 1 heavy powered armor. Those guys look pretty good. Again, I never had any of the old ones. So, but I think these guys look pretty awesome. You can see some mechanized infantry in the back. And we got a close-up on the mechanized infantry, the Mark II. Those guys look pretty chunky. Those big old heavy machine guns with the giant sword bayonets on them. And then that one on the left there looks like he's probably got, my guess would probably be a light anti-tank gun. And then, of course, we see the new Percival medium walker and a new Humber scout car in the back. Looks like we got a new Grizzly chassis coming along, and that one looks interesting. It's got the Tesla gun in the front, and it looks like it's got some Piat launchers on each of the arms. I'm still trying to make up my mind. I haven't really looked at this new Grizzly frame. I mean, I don't like the Grizzly, the actual Grizzly itself with the gun just pointing out the front. It's kind of comical to me, but I've got a Mudskip. Well, the Mudskipper isn't a Grizzly frame, but I've got a Hornet and a Kodiak, and I really like the way that those are designed. But I'd have to see it up close. I mean, it definitely keeps a bit more of the, it keeps an homage to the original design. So, well, just, when we get some more pictures of it, we'll take a look. And then, of course, again, that Humber Scout car that I mentioned in the back. Looks like it's got probably some twin light autocannons, or twin HMGs would be my guess. And then again, we've got that Mark 1 automated infantry, so these guys would probably be some new sculpts, hopefully plastic. Looking pretty good. Again, they got those, I'm guessing, medium machine guns with the big old sword bayonets on it. And then, of course, we've got the Commonwealth platoon commander in the front there. Looks like he's probably in some grade 1 power armor. You can kind of see a little bit of a preview of the Soviet tank on the right side in that corner. And then we get some more. We got some new Ursus infantry. Looks like these guys have hammers. Those poses look really awesome. And then we've got that Soviet T-34 ZP in the background. Excuse me. It looks good, but I actually prefer the design of the original. But whatever. You know, and then we got that new Walker. Obviously, I've got 2 armies already. You know, why not start a third? The answer to that is because I have enough models to paint already, but, I mean, the Soviets look pretty sweet. And these Moraz Ghul, the Ursus infantry, your Zhukovoy, T-34, I mean, they look sweet. So, I probably have to start a Soviet army at some point. I mean, once I read the lore for the Soviets in the original lore article, I was like, okay, I didn't know I needed to start a Soviet army, but I guess I do, so this is just kind of reinforcing it for me. And then again, we get some more close-ups of the Ursus infantry, and again, that DM-40 medium walker, Soviet walker in the background. I like this, like the industrial design of it. You know, just, it's Soviet engineering, so it's just designed to fulfill a purpose, not look good doing it. Although this does look good, don't get me wrong. I do like the design of it. And again, slightly different angle of our Ursus infantry there. So that's, yeah, new models for 3 factions. Look pretty cool. I don't know if those will be like part of a starter set or something. Again, I don't have much information on that, but it's some pretty cool stuff. So next up, we've got the special exclusive figure of the new U.S. hero, Roberta Wells. I think that this is a pretty interesting character. The rules came out for this as well. So, kind of the background, she's a graduate in physics, and the emergence of the Los Alamos Rift at the Trinity test site led to Roberta dedicating herself to the study of rift energy. The deployment of Axis Rift horrors, in particular the Dread Toten Corps in late 1944, led to her volunteering to ship out to the European theater to conduct studies of the application of rift tech in warfare. And despite numerous objections from the U.S. Army, her request was eventually granted. Her no-nonsense approach, resilience to the psychological horrors of the Rift War, and willingness to get stuck in marked her out amongst the raft of scientific advisors seconded to the front. Seconded. Exhibiting a fierce independence, Roberta would often strike out separately from the squad to which she was attached, lest they constrain her in the pursuit of her studies. Nevertheless, she gradually earned the respect of the U.S. Army soldiers and trusted with her safety in the field, having displayed a remarkable aptitude for combat situations. During this time, she carried an array of equipment of her own design, including a highly modified assault rifle, enabling her to detect, analyze, and where circumstances allow, collect pockets of rift energy. Okay, so that is all from the Army list entry. She clocks in at 68 points. She is a hero. She's on a 25mm base, and she's armed with an assault rifle, which if you look at the picture, it's very reminiscent of like an M2 assault rifle, which is a fully automatic M1 carbine. She's got standard movement, so 6-inch advance, 12-inch run, and she is veteran, so 5+ damage and 10 morale. She comes with a number of special rules. So Fieldcraft, an independent, may never be assigned an order by means of a snap to action, nor does she benefit from any morale bonus from being near a friendly officer. But she's got morale 10, so she shouldn't need it. She also has Infiltrator and Resourceful. She always takes any order test she is required to make at her unmodified morale value. She also has 1 point of Guts, 1 point of Rift Mastery, and 1 point of Luck, so she gets all 3. She's a Rift unit, comes with 2 Rift dice, which includes her Rift Mastery. This one is nasty, but awesome. So her active rift enhancement is Rift Research. Whilst she is executing an order, Roberta Wells may change the facing of an enemy rift unit's rift die to any side. The chosen unit must be within 12 inches of Roberta Wells. If she uses this enhancement, exhaust one of her rift dice after she has completed her order. That's pretty neat. So you can exhaust or change from surging to active, or you could even, go the other way around. If it was exhausted and she wanted to make it active, she could possibly screw with them. She does not have a surging bonus, and the exhausted penalty is she loses fieldcraft and she gains the lumbering special rule. So she's down to a 4-inch move on advance and an 8-inch move on a run. So that's pretty cool. That rift ability is kind of nuts. I mean, 12 inches when you think about it on a tabletop is a long way. So that's pretty nuts. That's cool though. I like that. So I'm glad I got my order in for that. And I'm sure we'll hear some more about the open day in the future. Again, check out the Konflikt 47 Facebook group. There's a lot of additional great pictures of the new models on there as well. I haven't heard much about any of the seminars or anything that they had, but I heard there was a very positive response to it. And yeah, turns out my local gaming store, which is a place that's been around, I've been going to for almost 30 years at this point, actually had all of the new Konflikt 47 stuff on the shelf. So that was really encouraging, and it kind of drives me to, it's like, all right, I got to start trying to work up a full head of steam on this hype train so we can get people into it and then get the store to have enough demand to keep stocking it. So, I mean, that would be really cool, because I would really, really like to keep... I mean, I don't mind ordering from a lot of these web stores and stuff because I can usually get a little bit of a deal on it. I don't mind ordering direct from Warlord because they ship pretty quick, and then you can get special deals and stuff. Plus, the reward point system. But I really want to be able to support my local businesses when I can, especially with, the state of things. I really want to be able to spend my money with local businesses that are here in my community. So, having said that, I do have just a couple other things to show. I did get my Vogelspinne belt. The Vogelspinne. It took me 2 nights to do this just because it was getting late and I was getting kind of tired. So it wasn't a bad build. The legs were a little finicky. I did build it as the command variant, so it's got the antenna on there. The fit wasn't bad, but to be honest, for a brand new production kit, I would have expected it just to be a little bit tighter. But it is what it is. It's a gaming piece, so that's fine. But like I said, the legs were kind of finicky. I hate wobbly models, so I was doing everything I could to get these legs lined up. Used my heavy-duty plastic glue to make sure that everything fit. And I got one leg lifted up just for some character. Originally built the twin light autocannon turret, and it still does go up and down. There's really no need to magnetize the turrets themselves, which is pretty neat. I built the Maschinengewehr turret. So here's our Maschinengewehr, our new gravity weapon. I like how it's like low profile. I like how the twin autocannons and the Maschinengewehr and flamer turret are relatively low profile in comparison to the light AT gun and autocannon turret. What I found is there's 2 little pegs. You probably can't see them very well in here, but there's 2 little pegs that slot into the turret. And as of right now, it's probably going to wear out over time. It's tight enough that you can just friction fit and swap between the flamethrower and the Maschinengewehr. Because I was looking at magnetizing them. I don't have any magnets quite small enough to replace those pegs. And there just isn't really enough meat in the base of the flamethrower to stick in much of a magnet. So I'm hoping I can just friction fit for a while. I don't know if I'd use the flamethrower all that much, but it's nice to have the option if I want to. I mean, my primary idea is probably going to use the twin light autocannons just because it looks cool. And then, of course, I did do the other turret. So we've got the light AT gun and the coax autocannon, and had to build the commander to put in the turret. I mean, I think it looks cool. Anytime I can do that now, I like doing it just to show some character, show some action. Fits in there really well. Looks pretty cool. But and I do have a second one, obviously, since I got everything. So I got two of these. But I think I'm gonna work on getting this painted up. But I think probably to start anyway, I'm gonna do the twin light autocannon. Looks pretty cool. Was talking to my gaming buddy. I think next Saturday we're gonna get a game in. Oh yeah, I also forgot. So I've got my. I can't remember if this is the starter set exclusive figure or the U.S. Army starter box, but I've got a platoon commander assembled. I don't know how well you can see that, but I did swap out for a plastic marine head. Took a little bit of fiddling. The scale creep is the thing, and I was a little disappointed at first, but I used a little UV resin to kind of just fill a little void, and then raise the head up off the shoulders a little bit, and it looks a lot better. It fits pretty darn well. So I'm pretty happy with that. So got one platoon commander assembled, and I'm painting up my Rocketeer to be my friendly game platoon commander. And then I've got my first frame of Fireflies assembled. So here's the platoon commander, which is oddly enough the only one in an in-flight pose. Again, swapped out a marine head. Again, lifted it up off the shoulders just a little bit. I used some sprue goo, so plastic model cement mixed with chunks of old sprue and stuff to raise the heads up. So this whole squad of 6 has marine heads. Here's a guy with the BAR. And then 3 more guys that have the Tesla Thompsons. They were a little fiddly to do, to be honest, but whatever. The one kind of, I don't want to say complaint, but the one hurdle that I had to... Okay, so there were 2. A lot of the left arms didn't quite fit. They didn't fit up flush with the bodies. Again, some sprue goo to help fill that gap, but also the shoulder pads that they have, those molded shoulder pads, are a separate piece, so that kind of helps cover the gap. But this guy specifically, he's armed with the ATRD, the little light anti-tank rocket. It was very difficult getting this to fit on any of the bodies. And the way that in the instructions, they don't tell you that they're body specific, but I have the feeling it's going to fit better on some bodies than others, which it's really tough to design stuff to fit on, every single weapon option to fit on every single body. So that was a little bit frustrating. I mean, I put this on probably 2 or 3 different bodies before I finally got it to semi-fit on this one. And then the head's kind of in an odd position. But I'm also not using the stock head, so that's part of it. But for the most part, they went together pretty well. They look cool, like minimal seam lines, which was really nice. So I'm probably going to work on just getting some more Fireflies and stuff assembled in the meantime this week, just so I can have a little more options when it comes to building the list for our game next week. Because I talked to my buddy, I think sometime next weekend we're going to try and get in a learning game. Small points, I'm thinking like 500 points just to start, just to kind of learn the basics of it and then start working it up from there. And then maybe get in some larger scale games, and then possibly even start offering demo games and stuff to try and help get people interested. So yeah. So it's been a big week in Konflikt with the pre-orders arriving, and then the open day. Everything's coming up Millhouse. So yeah, things are good. So I think the next squad, I'm probably going to do another 6 Fireflies. Actually, I need to start calling them Dragonflies because they're Marines. And in the first edition Marine Expeditionary Task Force, they were called Dragonflies. So I got to start calling them Dragonflies. Yeah, they're cool. I'm going to try and get 6 more of them done and probably use the stock heads just to see how they look. I'm not sure. Because I don't want to keep scavenging all of the... I don't necessarily need a bunch more plastic Marines. But I can get some variety in the heads. I got 24 or 26 of them to do if I count all the special characters. I think my diorama figure, I've got a second one, but I just used the stock heads, so maybe I'll grab another one of those. Who knows? Plenty of options. So, yeah. Any other updates I have? Not really. The USS Cobia is getting great treatment in dry dock, so check out the Wisconsin Maritime Museum Facebook page. Lots of pictures on there. They've completely gotten the underwater hull done. They have closed off the sea chests. Because I think they were originally open when they went to dry dock in 1996, and those were for pulling in water to help cool the engines, the diesel engines, which 2 of them do run, but they run them for such short periods of time that cooling is not that big of a concern. So those are a little bit different sea chests on submarine because they weren't using the water to desalinate and generate steam like they would on something like the Battleship New Jersey. So the sea chests have all been blanked over, and they're getting a lot of work done on Cobia. So definitely go check that out. As always, hit those links down below. Let me know what you think of the new models that were previewed. And again, big shout out to Max at Bearfoot Miniatures for sending over those pictures for me. Sure do appreciate it, buddy. And also check out Bearfoot Miniatures on YouTube. He's cranking out some amazing Konflikt 47 battle reports. So hop on over and give Max a couple of views if you would. Yeah, so check all those links down below, social media, as well as my Warlord Games affiliate link. And until next time, may your pains be thin, your brushes be pointy, and guess what? May your dice be hot.